everybody. Welcome back to Buddies on Buddies, the show with two real-life buddies talking about buddy action comedy movies. I'm Kenny Lake.
I'm Lucas Hill.
And we're back again, back at you. We're clocking in a good episode every 2 months now, 1 month, month and a half, something like that.
What episode number is this?
Like 56, I think, or something.
Yeah. Look, this is a hobby for us. We're not here to get rich quick,
Right.
We're here to watch some buddy action comedy movies and shoot the shit. This is our barbershop,
Yeah. We do this because we love it, not because we're making any money, we have any fans, or anyone's ever watching. No one gives a shit. And so that's why we do this.
And if people did start watching and started giving us money, we would change like that.
What would we do? Would we get what would happen if all of a sudden someone's like, "Hey, here's like $50,000 to do the show for like another 5 episodes"? What would we do with it?
We'd start fighting, off camera and stuff. Like almost immediately.
You're fucking this up, Lucas. I'm not going to go down with you. This is real money. This is my shot.
So yeah, it would ruin us. It would ruin our friendship.
Yeah,
it would ruin this. Yeah.
So, but please give us money because
we'll give it a whirl.
We want to find out if this is true or not. We were willing to sacrifice our friendship for money. That's one thing we know.
We said that the day we met. We're like, hey, we can be friends. I want you to know.
We're always going to let money come between us. If it ever happens, probably won't. But if it does, fuck this whole thing.
And we shook hands.
Yeah. That was it after that.
Good. What movie are we doing? It has been a while. It's a new year. It's 2025. What are we starting this year off with?
We're starting this year off with The Rundown, the 2023 Universal Pictures and Sony co-production, directed by Peter Berg and starring The Rock and Seann William Scott.
You said 2023. You meant 2003.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, 2003. Fuck that up. My
bad. Again, if we were making money, I'd be all over you on that afterwards in our post meeting.
Yeah. I was watching Tarantino was on some podcast talking about their podcast. And he said he listens to a lot of like some movie podcasts and stuff, just random guys. And he said the one thing that drives him crazy is people that don't know what the fuck they're talking about, which I'm sure we've done a lot. He's like, so we're doing E.T. This is Spielberg's first movie, right? Yeah, I believe it's his first one. Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah, but also I've heard people talk about how Tarantino mispronounces people's names, and he'll do it for the entire podcast. So,
well, it's hard when you talk about foreign films and stuff. Talk about these guys. So,
yeah, I've noticed, and it's an aging thing. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts, but I watch some videos. I watch YouTube videos and something. Oh, that's interesting. And their knowledge of movies. I think it's just because I'm older. Like, that's not right. No, like, what do you mean you haven't heard of this? Like things that I think are a common knowledge, like the Tim Burton Batman movies. Batman Returns. Which one is that? Is that the one with the ice guy?
Yeah, I'm getting a little better about going back and watching movies from the 40s and stuff or whatever, but you can definitely tell how old I am by the movies like from that 70s, like 2000s, window.
Anywho, yeah, we're going to do the rundown, but first, it's been a while, so are there anything you watched that really pop out that you want to talk about?
I saw Gladiator 2. You saw that as well, right?
I did see it, yeah.
Yeah, what'd you think?
It was okay. It was a fun, stupid gladiator movie, but nothing more than that. If you want a gladiator movie, there you go. There's one, but it's not like going to win any awards or anything. And Paul Mescal, I'm sure he's a fine actor. I haven't seen him in a lot, but he does not carry the gravitas that Russell Crowe did. I do not believe this guy could beat up everybody in the arena. You believe Russell Crowe can kill everybody in that arena.
Yeah.
No offense to Paul Mescal. I'm sure he's a great actor. I'm probably saying his name wrong.
Paul Tarantino. Well, yeah, and Ridley Scott, for how beloved he is and considered so great, everyone's like, oh my god, he's made like 3 classics, like Alien, Blade Runner, Gladiator, and some like pretty good ones I've liked. Some
of the movies is a classic. I think he's got a lot of good movies.
He's got like 40 meh movies, and he's very prolific. He makes one like every year, and it's just Prometheus, White Squall, Someone to Watch Over Me, they all, and then everyone's so jazzed. Oh, he's doing this movie. I can't wait. It's like, have you watched the last like 15 fucking Ridley Scott movies? They're all kind of lit.
He's in his 80s and he's still sharp as a tack. If you watch any interviews with
Oh
him,
yeah, he's a real sharp guy. Really,
crazy.
yeah,
He hasn't missed a beat at all. Same energy. It's wild.
yeah. Just some directors, I wish they weren't as prolific as they are. I guess because it kind of ruins their legacy a little bit for me.
Not for me. I always look forward to a Ridley Scott movie, and if it's bad, like not the last stool. Yeah, the last stool. That was really good.
Was they good? I think I still haven't got around to that one,
Oh, you
but
should check that out. Yeah, it
all
was.
right. Well, like I said, when he's good, he's great. His movies always look great, and this one had some good stuff, in it and stuff. But yeah, it's like Gladiator 2, it's like Braveheart too. But Denzel Washington was awesome in this. I
He's
think
fantastic.
if you just go to see it, just if you're a Denzel Washington fan, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, and again, what I hated most is the CGI animals. I can't stand them. They don't look real. They always look like cartoons. Just
Uh-huh.
stop doing it. It's going to age poorly. I hate.
Well, I agree with you. It always takes me out of it and all that stuff. So, but you think they should stop writing these scenes, or because you're an animal lover, you've been against like zoos and SeaWorld and stuff like that. Like since they started doing all these CGI animals, they don't like they even said we don't even do that shit anymore. But maybe besides horses or something, might be the only like dogs or something. But like, so how do you feel about like it's PETA loves that these they're just CGI animals now. They're well, anyway, what do you think?
You're making a movie. If you have to kill a few stuntmen, a few animals to get that
Yeah.
movie, then it's all worth it. You know, a movie I can't wait to see? Fucking
Uh-huh.
Rust. Yeah, like let
Which
me see
one?
Rust.
Rust. Oh yeah.
I want to
That's
see
never,
the blood on that film. You know, that's when I know you sacrifice your. No, I don't want animals to be hurt, but you can still use them. You know,
well, just the training. They don't know they're in a movie. They're being forced to do shit. It's like
don't
circus stuff.
sure, but their trainers usually care for them. You know, you would hope. Anyway, don't write a scene with killer monkeys if you can't use monkeys or practical effects that are going to make it look real. That's
Just
it.
stop writing that shit because it's
Yeah.
going to ruin it with CGI and you're torturing animals otherwise. So just don't do it.
Where's the cough button on this thing?
I didn't know we had a cough button.
Should. Yeah, you just tap the audio. Dang
Okay.
it.
Magic.
Yeah. Um, that was fun. I also saw.
Anything else?
I want to talk about A Real Pain, just because it's gotten so much acclaim.
A
The
real
Jesse
pain.
Eisenberg directing and story.
Oh, with Culkin,
Yeah,
Kieran Culkin. Yeah.
or Kieran Culkin. No, it's Rory Culkin. Or is Rory the?
One of the Culkins.
It's one
That's
of the
not
Culkin.
Cully.
Yeah, look, it's fine, but I don't get the praise, you know, and award attention stuff like that. Look, if two no-name filmmakers and actors put this together, I'd be like, oh, good for them. That's scrappy, you know. They get to film
Yeah.
in some crazy locations. But since these are established stars, I don't feel that way. I'm like, why am I watching this? I don't want to give anything away, but it's like this is a big nothing burger. I feel like I'm watching two friends hang out with a budget, and it's
Yeah.
not entertaining to me or interesting. And the characters aren't interesting. I don't know. I still, you know, 3-star movie. It's fine. I just don't get the praise.
Don't know why everyone's just going, this is such a great film, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Yeah, some of those kind of like indie, heartfelt, people hug it out, talk it out movies. I'm just not sure why they're made. But I mean, yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't really comment on it.
Can I give you one little spoiler, or do you not want any
I
spoilers?
don't care. Yeah, sure.
Because it really bothered me. So, like, what's up with this guy? He's a real pain. Oh, it turned out he tried to commit suicide. Like, that's the
Ah,
lamest, fucking predictable, easy character development thing. You know, like it's
uh-huh.
fucking dumb. It pissed me off. Like, you couldn't think of something original for this character to go through.
Yeah. I'm getting tired of that kind of stuff. And also that starting off with a character whose loved person just died to get them on their side. They just had a special person die on them. I'm kind of getting sick of that. That's in a ton of fucking movies. It's easy ploy.
Yeah, it's just easy to make them relatable, or like, oh, this person's a piece of shit, but that's why his wife died or left
Right.
him or whatever the fuck.
Uh-huh.
I would just want some more original, you know, people suffer for so many different reasons. Pick a new
Yeah.
one, you know.
Well, it's easy. It's something that's completely not their fault. So you're on there kind of, and everyone can relate to that. So it's just so easy, an easy ploy to get you on their side. And so it's been done so many times.
And with this movie, like the guy should be an asshole. It's called A Real Pain, but it wasn't like Greenberg or something where the guy's just a fucking asshole. It's like
Well, then you risk so some people didn't like Greenberg because they think Greenberg's actually kind of a dick. But
that's
I
the
like that. I like taking that chance. Like it's really riding the edge here.
anyway. Anything else you saw you want to talk about?
Not really. No, I
What,
mean,
Thanksgiving? We didn't do one in December, did we?
no. Well, we did one in December, early
Oh,
December. Yeah, but it's been a while.
only been a little bit more than a month.
How's your? No, you're not? Are you doing? You're not doing dry January this year, right?
No, we're doing a damp first quarter. Um,
Yeah.
and then there's other things. So it's like 3 months. There's other things like working out and getting off nicotine and tobacco and stuff like
How's
that.
that going?
That doesn't start hard until like a couple more weeks. It's like 1 month of this, 1 month of that, and 1 month of nothing, So
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah.
How's your dry January going?
It's going pretty easy this year. It's really haven't, last year seemed like a bigger deal for me. Now, just like, oh yeah, no problem. Get used to it pretty fast. There is one thing though that my buddy, I don't know if I told you this, but he just bought a like moonshine maker
Mhm.
and put it in his garage and started making moonshine. And he started with like sugar, which makes rum. I guess potatoes make vodka. I don't know how this shit really works, but he's just been just giving out jars. He's like, "Hey, you want a jar?" And I was like, "No, sorry." Like, dry January, so I couldn't partake. But he did because he has a lot of weed. He decided to make some moonshine out of weed, and it's really strong weed. And he said that when this guy can hold his liquor, but he did like half a shot and he like fell on the floor. He said he started like yelling like a deaf person, whatever that meant, and then he started crawling. He had to crawl into his bed and just shake and just like And then he called it Spawn of Satan and put it above the fridge in a jar. And I didn't know you could make moonshine out of weed, but you can. And apparently it's really fucking crazy shit.
Well, if all that's true, and I don't really think it is,
No?
I don't know.
What was that? Just too outlandish of a story
Well,
for you?
half a shot, you're like, that's just like you're taking a poison or you put too much alcohol in it or something like that.
Uh huh.
Half a shot's nothing, even with like some of the strongest liquor in the world, Everclear, moonshine, and
But I
whatnot.
think when you make it with a basis pot, I think it did something weird or something.
I don't know. Hey, crazier things have happened. Your friend's a liar. Your friend's not a liar. That's
Well,
not.
I've seen the moonshine maker. I know he's doing it. So
I know he's
I'm
been.
like,
I'm just
no, unbelievable, unbelievable. That would not happen, Kenny. No, he would not take a shot. He would not. It would not fuck him up.
Well, so when you're off dry January, you're going to take a half a shot of this and report back here to say who's lying and who's telling the truth.
I was hoping you'd fly up and I get you to do it and see what's going
Flying
on.
up wouldn't be the issue. It's flying up having
Yeah,
to drive 3 hours to the peninsula once I get there. That I don't
that's
like.
part of the journey, man. I can't make it too easy for you.
Um, good. Well, I'm looking forward to you trying it. You have to try it, right?
Well, he said he only wants to be able to do it with a medicine dropper because but I don't know. I don't like really getting fucked up and having to drive home. And there's no Uber or Lyft here on the peninsula. So it's basically like, Megan have to come pick me up or something. So I don't really like getting that wasted anymore when I do drink.
Well, what you do is you take a little bit of it home with you, and then you drink a little bit when you're in a safe place.
Uh huh. When I'm sitting back, just watching
Yeah.
my, NCIS and just like, I can go for some marijuana moonshine right now. And, bam.
Well, good for him. I think. How old is he? Adrian?
Our age, he's like in his early 40s.
Yeah, that's a weird time to get into moonshine making. You're supposed to be pumping the brakes on this stuff.
Well, apparently you can order everything is legal, but I think actually I don't know if making your own spirits is legal. I think it might be illegal just to make your own spirits at home, or if you can, but he's been just handing out jars left, right. Gave one to my boss, like, that owns the golf course. So,
Are you looking forward to trying regular moonshine because you're too afraid to do the other stuff?
well, yeah, I might try a little bit of the regular stuff, his rum or whatnot, but
Because it
yeah,
sounds like,
I'm not really looking forward to trying the marijuana stuff he calls Spawn of Satan.
I guess where my skepticism spiked when you mentioned what he was going through with Spawn of Satan is because it's like Wolf of Wall Street when he's taking all those fucking quaaludes and he can't like get up his fucking stairs. Like those are harder drugs that you need to take than.
I don't know. Have you ever tried marijuana moonshine?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. You know who I think's full of shit?
Me?
You. You, buddy.
I never said claim to have tried it. I'm just saying I just don't believe you.
That story is just way too outlandish. There's too many moving parts.
A little too much. Yeah, it's a little too much, but could be happening. If he did and it does work like that, you could probably make a lot of money with it.
Well, hey, anybody out there watching this, what are your thoughts on marijuana moonshine? Does it work? Is it crazy? Let us know in the comments.
We don't have anybody who's going to comment. Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to all our viewers out there, the whole 35 or whatever that watched the last episode.
That was weird. You're losing your mind. Hey, let's get to unless you have something else you want to talk about, any other movie you want to talk about.
No, we can get right into the rundown if you'd
You
like.
want to get into the rundown?
Sure.
Kenny, what is the log line for the rundown?
The log line, like off the top of my head, or the log. I was thinking the tagline. You know, welcome to the jungle, baby. The log line. Okay, so a bounty hunter type guy who works for a mob guy has to go down and get this other guy in the jungle and bring him back.
Yeah, I would say a collector for the mob sent by his boss to retrieve his son from a Brazilian jungle.
Hmm.
There he crosses paths with a ruthless diamond miner, gold miner.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were your general feelings about this movie?
Well, this is I think the second movie that we've reviewed on this show that actually I think we watched together like 20 plus years ago. We lived together in Arizona. The other one's Bad Boys 2. So I haven't seen it since. Have you seen it since?
No, I remember I did watch it. I couldn't remember if it was with you or anybody. I know I wasn't into it. I don't even know if I got through the entire thing. I must have, but I
Yeah.
don't think I saw it in the theater.
No, we watched it like at home, like just, hanging out. Yeah.
I remember having such a fun trailer and like, oh, that movie looks cool, and then just being completely underwhelmed by the movie itself.
And it got decent reviews too. Like Roger Ebert gave it a really good review, and he never really he's not a big fan of like the silly action movies and stuff. Um, but yeah, I kind of felt like the same way I did last time. This is kind of it's okay. I think this is the first one I thought, I think the PG-13 rating really kind of hurts this one. If it had a more salty dialogue, like a Midnight Run thing going back and forth, it just seems like it's playing very safe. And it's also one of those, I think, when the plot kicks in, it all goes downhill.
Yeah, see, I great setting and everything. I actually wasn't liking it until they get into the jungle, and then it gets a little bit better, and then it becomes kind of like a buddy action comedy meets like a wannabe Indiana Jones. That's when it's at its best.
Hmm.
But yeah, overall, no, it was fine. It's not the worst movie. It looks
It's
good. It's slick, but
Yeah, it's probably one of the better rock movies, but that's really not saying anything.
yeah. Speaking of Arnold Schwarzenegger, random cameo at the beginning of the passing of the torch thing.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about that scene because I think that's actually the best part of the movie. I really like that opening scene. It's not quite as awesome as I used to think it was. I saw it's a great opening scene, great setup, introduction to how to introduce the character, all that kind of stuff. It's a little silly now, watching it again, but I still think that's the best part of the movie, and it kind of all goes downhill from there. But yeah, the Arnold Schwarzenegger passing the torch cameo, I think it's all the more kind of depressing when you think about the Rock's, filmography. That was supposed to be okay. You're taking. I'm going to be governor. You go take over for me, and he really has not had much to really point out. I mean, Schwarzenegger had Predator, Total Recall, Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Conan, a bunch of these that are easily better than anything the Rock's ever been in.
Yeah, and The Rock's a huge movie star, no doubt about it, but he doesn't have the same filmography or legacy that Arnold did, where he was the top of the game throughout
Mm-hmm.
like better part of a decade.
Well, I mean, as far as paid movie stars in general, like Rock is like I think still like the highest paid movie star in the world. He just made $50 million off that Red One movie that came out that no one besides me really liked. I have noticed there's been a Rock backlash recently with fans and stuff, and I'm wondering what that was about because yeah, he's never really been in a good movie, and people loved him for years and years. So I don't know, was it Black Adam or something that people just woke up and like this guy sucks?
Didn't help, but you overstay your welcome. It's nobody's fault.
That's true.
You only have so much of so, especially with the internet. People
Mm-hmm.
who spoke up, say, I hate that guy. Oh, why? Like everybody hates Amy Schumer.
Yeah.
They used to love her, and now they hate her, and then they hate it. I don't know. They're stupid. So the buddy aspect didn't work. They have zero chemistry. Him and I like uh Scott.
Uh
Or
huh.
what's his name?
John William Scott.
John William Scott. I knew it was an assassin's name. But yeah, they didn't have any chemistry. And I like Sean William Scott. I think he's funny, but he was trying so hard and it was
Yeah.
not funny. And they didn't have chemistry. There weren't funny lines. There were no setups, no punchlines, no nothing. They just had nothing. they were also too antagonistic the entire time. Like I never felt they had any type of buddy connection.
Well, there's the usual thing. It's like they start out, they hate each other. By the end, they're friends. I mean, that happens in a lot of these. Like, but yeah, I don't think there was really much arc to their relationship at all. They still kind of don't like each other by the end of it. They
Mhm.
didn't learn to respect each other or anything.
And I'm just going to jump to this because I was touching on the comedy because it was
Mhm.
so shitty. Like one of the running gags, they do it three times with the stupid lightning and thunder.
But lightning and the thunder, no,
It's
yeah.
so forced and horrible. And then they
Hmm.
kept doing it. It's just like by the time they do it and like the ending, I'm just like, Jesus fucking Christ, someone get joke writers to write these people dialogue and banter. Well, they need some banter, but it's not there.
Yeah, I didn't think that was funny at all. They kept going back to it and then ended the movie with it, and yeah, it was pretty desperate.
This is also a very silly movie.
Hmm.
They're basically immortal. Like once he runs them off the road,
Hmm.
like to get away, like makes them the Jeep turn off a fucking cliff and they tumble and fall for hundreds of feet, and then they get up and dust themselves off. Like, okay, so no one can get hurt at all in this movie.
Hmm.
And then when he's fighting that whole group of guerrilla fighters or whatever,
Yeah,
they're flying through the air like on
at no
wires
point
and
do you think The
stuff.
Rock's actually in danger after that opening scene.
Yeah. So you don't feel anything. No one can die or get hurt.
Hmm.
The Rock's not very good in this. He's just not very good.
He got better, more charismatic stuff. I think he was okay, but yeah, he's still a little like green and stuff. But I thought he was fine in it, and I thought he was like commanding presence, good lead and stuff. But I mean, yeah, it's an underwhelming movie, and this is kind of like Romancing the Stone without the romance. Or that movie, The Lost City. It's very similar jungle setting, a lot of hijinks, but yeah, there's no there's no like real like payoff or I wasn't really into it.
Wasn't this the movie? Because Christopher Walken famously is in this movie. This was during the Walken Renaissance. You
Yeah.
know, like they sold him on the trailer. Wasn't this the one where they did reshoots and changed his lines so they were more Walken-esque and it was frustrating him?
I think that could be the case. I mean, he was in a bunch of shit around that time, like Kangaroo Jack and Joe Dirt and all these like silly comedies. And he just come in and just do his walking shtick. But yeah, that Tooth Fairy speech he gives, like the Tooth Fairy, I left a tooth, and that was he was out of nowhere, really out of place, and just weird, just like okay, walk in, go, do a walk in, and that's yeah.
Well, in the IMDb, they said it was originally about Pooh Bear getting stuck with the honey, but Disney threatened to sue, so they had to reshoot it and change it to the Tooth Fairy thing.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
Who
this
knows? You can't
movie
trust
actually
IMDb trivia anyway. Most of that shit's just made up.
this movie did have a pretty high budget for a September release, and I was surprised that how bad it bombed. It made like 85 million budget and grossed about 80 million total. I'm surprised like Peter Berg and The Rock had such a big career since this was their big, opening movie.
Well, if I remember correctly, The Rock had a bunch of coming out parties. We're here, welcome to The Rock, and then they just kept
Mhm.
flopping and flopping and
Yeah.
flopping. And this.
Yeah, eventually started doing just these like I'll do any sequels, and so he started just doing like GI Joe 2, and Journey to the Center of the Earth 2, and Fast and Furious 5, and that took him off. Just bringing his I'll do anything magic to sequels.
Yeah, and Jumanji, I think, helped him a lot too.
Well, he was already a big established star by then, but yeah, it was just he would just start doing all these sequels to movies he wasn't even in the originals in.
I thought the special effects have aged pretty well for a movie of this nature and budget. Like the mine
Yeah,
looks cool. There are a few scenes that were obviously special effects, but they didn't look as bad as some of the other stuff from this era.
I noticed this was kind of the beginning of that real cut, 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 like like fighting or like action editing where it's hard. There's so many cuts. They kind of got crazy with that by the time like Taken 3 came out, and there's 10 cuts when
Yeah.
Liam Neeson jumps over a fence.
Yeah, the shaky camera work and too many cuts. It just made the action suck. The action wasn't any good.
Yeah.
And also, what the fuck is with The Rock's arc? He's like, I don't touch guns. I don't like what I become when I
Mm-hmm.
touch guns. I hurt too many people. And the
Mm-hmm.
end, he's just, I'm gonna touch guns and just kills a bunch of the bad guys, and that's it. And that's like his hero moment. It's like,
That's his
what
hero
is
moment with it. And what is the Scottish guy doing there? The pilot,
yeah,
like
that too? He has
yeah,
no stakes in this fight whatsoever.
no, and he's like leading. He walks into town by himself, carrying a bagpipe, announcing The Rock. I'm like, we barely know that guy. Why is he risking his life essentially for this guy?
And it became very Bay-esque. Like
Oh yeah.
that cutting to him talking and the frantic action was very Michael Bay.
Hmm.
I'm just going to take a little cul-de-sac here.
Sure.
Um, the director,
Peter
um,
Berg.
Peter Berg, not a fan. Like he has,
You like Battleship? What the fuck, man?
he's, I don't know. I like Friday Night Lights, the TV series, but he does not make good movies.
No, no, I didn't. I wasn't that big on the Friday Night Lights movie when I saw it. I thought it, was, kind
No,
of
the
okay.
TV series, not the movies. Okay at
I never
best.
watched the TV series,
TV
but like the
series,
movie, I thought was just kind of okay. They got a lot of acclaim. That's probably his biggest hit. But yeah, and like I never saw Lone Survivor because I thought it was stupid giving away the ending in the title. And a lot of his other stuff is like Very Bad Things is a pretty bad movie that was kind of broke him. And I found out doing a little research that Ari Gold, that like super producer, that
yeah.
Entourage, but that was his college roommate.
Hmm.
So they're best friends. So I think that had probably a lot to do with his career. Just kept, he kept falling upward.
I mean, he had a decent acting career before he started just directing so much.
Oh, sure.
There's,
Yeah. He went to like Chicago Hope and stuff.
yeah,
And yeah.
there's a new Western on that I was looking forward to on Netflix. It's supposed to be really violent and just like oppressively
Oh,
bleak.
yes. It takes place in the Northwest. Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, sign me up for that. But then I
Mhm.
saw that he directed.
Fuck that.
Yeah, shit. Like that's how much I don't really like him as a director. I was actually surprised that he directed this. I didn't know it until the end. It just
Yeah.
doesn't feel like his normal movies. This at least has a pulse. Like his movies
Yeah.
are so dead.
Right. There's nothing, I don't know, but he's not, I'm not a big Peter Berg fan, but he also seems to be just, can pump one out all the time.
I'm sure he's a nice guy. I don't mean to talk shit. That's pretty much all my notes.
Well, I said, let's see. We've already covered pretty much most of my notes, but what do you think about that? What I said earlier about the PG-13 rating. It's the first time I've kind of noticed that, where I thought an R rating would have made it less bland, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I could have used more violence. I don't know. The movie,
Faulty dialogue, or
yeah, maybe a few curse words here and there. I don't know. That's not the. If I were to fix this movie, it
mm-hmm.
would be to ensure that central relationship is more endearing and their dynamic more palpable.
Yeah,
Because the actors are good, they should play well with each other. I think it's a good idea on paper. They just don't give them anything to fucking do or say. He just keeps
yeah,
calling him big guy, and then makes a few bad jokes, and then they have a gay panic joke when he has to urinate. Then
mm-hmm.
did they insinuate the monkey fucked his face? Am I getting that right?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was the humor in it was kind of lame, and I don't know. I was like I said, I think it's a it wasn't a horrible view. It wasn't like terrible.
No.
But still, I would not recommend this. And this is, I ask people too, like come to the bar, some of my regular stuff, like, what would you consider a good rock movie? And a lot of them are like, oh, The Rundown. And I hate to break people, it's still not that good.
Yeah. That's funny that they choose it. Like this is like a dad movie. I think many dads
Oh yeah,
would like this movie.
yeah.
And then it was also confusing the love triangle that goes unexplored. She seems to have affection for both guys, but a
And
sexual
yeah,
history with
uh huh,
Scott, but it's kind of having chemistry with The Rock, but that goes nowhere. They don't
yeah.
do anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's supposed to be a cook. They don't have him cook once. Have him cook some.
I forgot that was even a part of the thing. I think that's just for the ends to get that drug, scene where they gives them all that crazy fruit and stuff. They go nuts. It's like, oh, this guy's a brilliant cook. Okay, I'll eat. Well, let's all cheers, But
Why doesn't he say, let me cook you one more meal?
yeah,
And does some cool meal and puts the fruit in it. And then we don't see that until after they pass out. Then we
yeah,
realize he put the meal in his fruit, or the fruit in the meal.
yeah,
That would have been something instead of just, I'm going to chop this fruit and hand it to you. The whole movie's half baked, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. Could have done another pass or two. Well, we're talking about Friday Night Lights and stuff. I saw that Peter Berg's cousin is Buzz Bissinger, who is the one celebrity that lives here on the peninsula. He wrote Friday Night Lights, and I guess they are developing Peter Berg. He said his next movie he wants to do is the Mosquito Bowl, which is that book I had him sign and I gave to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be the next Peter Berg movie coming up.
That would be amazing. I didn't
Yeah,
know that was a connection. I didn't know that they were related, but I knew
yeah,
he lived on the peninsula
cousins, really.
for Friday Night Light.
Yeah.
Now, when you say stuff, and I can tell you're obviously reading off your computer screen, does that make you feel like a professional?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can definitely tell when you're reading stuff too. I mean,
Well, I'm not hiding it. I hold it on my phone and I look at it.
uh huh.
You try to go, and here's a funny thought I just came up with. The
Well, yeah.
cousin.
It's called a segue. You try to slide. You're not supposed to reveal that you're reading your notes. That's what pros do. They just like blend it all in seamlessly,
Mhm. Well, I think you need to work on the seamless part.
or just be really obvious and dumb about it. Let me check. Yeah. Okay.
This is the modern thing. Let me see what people are saying right here. Oh, I got you right here, Kenny. So the Arnold cameo,
Uh
that was
huh.
a last minute thing. He just happened to be shooting something on the same lot, and they had him come in for he did that in the same day he shot a Terminator thing for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Back to
Well,
you, Kenny. See,
that's
that's
a good.
professional now. Yeah, it's
Is
not the
that
Gay
someone commenting
Brothers.
on our show while we're taping it?
What's that?
What is that? Was that someone commenting on our show while we're taping it?
What I just read? No, actually, I was pretending to read. I was actually going from memory, which is
Yeah.
kind of silly.
Well, okay. So I was like, wait a minute, we're not live. We tape this. How are people like? Let's go to the phones.
No, that's a fact from or written in IMDb trivia that I remembered and then acted like I was reading it, which seems
Okay.
pretty stupid in retrospect. But here we
Yeah. Yeah. Very stupid. See, that's why
just a
we shouldn't
point.
do it.
Just
Blend
make it
blend
a
it right
point.
in like I do.
So what would you give this? How would you rate this? Where do you stand?
I'd give it like 2.5 because it's not hard to sit through. Would I recommend it to anybody? No, and it's actually kind of a frustrating film when I think about The Rock's legacy and all that stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, I give it 2.5. I was also disappointed how many times I could tell the Rock stunt double. I know it was his cousin, but
hmm
they weren't that elaborate stunts. I was like, that's a stunt double. I know you
yeah,
can't get them injured because that fucks up the whole shoot. That's why they do stunt doubles more than anything. But I'm like,
right.
you're a professional wrestler. You can do some of this shit. Like, why do you need a stunt double for a drop kick? You know?
Insurance purposes and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the stunt double stuff never really bothers me too much. I mean, I think it's cool that somebody did it. Doesn't necessarily have to be the star. I've like
Mm.
a lot of respect for stunt performers and stuff. So yeah,
Yeah, but I love it. Like when you go see a Tom Cruise movie and you know it's him that does something, you know? It
yeah,
adds,
yeah. It's all heights related. That's all he does, and he does have stunt doubles.
well, they all do. So does
Yeah,
Jackie Chan. They're all
right.
frauds. They're all fucking
Yeah,
frauds.
well, we should praise the stunt people, not like this movie sucks because he didn't actually do it. It's like, well, somebody did it, and not like watch old James Bond movies. Like that's not really Roger Moore. This sucks.
Roger Moore was like geriatric when he's
He's not really on the top of the Golden Gate Bridge. At 61 or whatever the fuck he was, old and beautiful to kill. But I still think it's cool that some guy was up there pretending to be him, some real guy.
I like the system we have now where we just pretend stunt doubles don't even fucking exist. And
Yeah.
we can even lie about it and say they do all their own stunts.
Oh yeah, it's part of the marketing and stuff. And just
Great.
pretend those guys are risking their lives. No, they're pieces. They don't even deserve any sort of credit.
It's movie magic, baby. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
They'll probably change it. They quit killing horses and all that stuff.
Well, is that a good thing? I don't think so.
Is it a good thing that they quit killing horses? You're
No,
right.
no, yeah. Like you just said, I like the blood. I like the realism. I want to see blood and bone on the screen.
I love watching old westerns or old movies and where they don't really give a shit about any of that stuff.
Oh, like 70s Tekken
You're just
Talk.
like,
Where they
holy
actually blow the
shit.
heads off chickens and shit and film it. Yeah.
That's wild. I'd be careful watching old movies with Mary, especially westerns, because
Yeah.
they don't give a shit about those horses at all. Like,
No, that horse is fine. Just tumbled a little bit.
no, horses are made of tough stuff. Tough stuff. Don't they have to get put down if they break a leg? Ah, he's fine.
There's another James Bond movie, Never Say Never Again, that came out in the 80s, where they just shoved a horse like off like an 80-foot platform into the ocean, and it caused controversy because you can tell it's a real horse falling. And then they had like, oh no, that was a fake horse, and then no, you can see it kicking its legs and shit, like, but still in the movie.
I know we're giggling, but that's horrible.
It's horrible, but I like the moxie of like that's a dummy horse. What are you talking about? Ha ha ha.
I would give this a 2.5 as well. I
Mhm.
might even give it less as a buddy action comedy because the buddy sucks and the comedy sucks, you know? So it's like a
Yeah,
2.5
yeah.
for an action movie, 2-star buddy action comedy. Like,
Yeah, the buddies aren't good in this one. No real chemistry, and they're not even buddies. There's no arc. They don't get to like each other, and yeah, I don't know. The whole thing I was kind of underwhelmed by just like when I first saw it. So I don't know what the hell Roger Ebert saw in this movie, but
Mary walked by while I was watching it,
mhm.
and she's like, "Why are you watching this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's for Buddies on Buddies."
Mhm.
Oh, so it's not a new movie? I'm like, yeah, no, Scott doesn't get to share the screen with a double bill with The Rock anymore.
Yeah,
No offense, I've always liked him, but his career went down a different path.
right.
He's still working though. He played. This circles back to Buddy's a Buddy thing. He
Mhm.
took over for the guy who lost his mind on the Lethal Weapon show.
Yeah, he was the third season replacement, and that was hilarious because now Damon Wayans is partnered up with another like suicidal crazy cop. Like, how many do you have in the department? Uh,
Good stuff.
mm-hmm.
What are we doing next? Let's be honest. Month or
Yeah,
two.
month or two. Well, since a month or two, I really want to do Running Scared because it takes place in the winter, and I want to do a winter movie. I mean, that's what I've been wanting to do for a while.
Did you pick the rundown?
You pick the rundown.
Fuck me. Why would I do that?
I don't know. It's your fucking pick. So I'm picking this time. We're doing Running Scared.
How do you feel about the inauguration and the
Did you see
billionaires and
the Village People performance? That was fucking lit.
what about like the Nazi salute by Musk? Did you see that?
Must give a Nazi salute?
You didn't see that?
No.
Oh, you should Google that when we're done here.
Okay.
You'll love it. You'll be over the fucking moon.